Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers, and welcome to another of our running guides. In this video we are going to be looking at running caps, so something that I have a massive collection of. I love running caps. I know the other Run Testers are big fans of them as well. We're going to be talking about all our favourite running caps that you can wear in the summer and in the winter. Let's dive in.
So my first pick for the best running caps is the On Lightweight Cap. It's fair to say it's one that we're all a big fan of here at the Run Testers. It's just a really nice, well-rounded cap that doesn't cost the earth, although the price has been rising a little bit, I've noticed, over the past year or so with inflation. It's £36 or $44.99. It fits like a standard baseball cap, which I like, probably more than the somewhat flat fit you get with some of the softer caps these days. You've got a very large and firm brim, which does a great job of keeping the sun or rain out of my eyes when I'm on the run, and the design is nice and subtle. Like, there's lots of fairly plain designs here. It's not as wild and wacky as some of the ones out there, but it's nice to have a fairly subtle cap to wear from time to time. It lives up to its name of being very lightweight, very breathable, and despite that fact, does absorb a lot of sweat. So it's not going to start dripping on you if you get really sweaty after an hour or so. It will absorb all that sweat, dries quickly, and still feels nice and light on the head. So yeah, that's my first pick, the On Lightweight Cap. My second pick is the Montane Minimus Lite Waterproof. Now, this is the only waterproof cap I think I've ever tested that really is lightweight and enjoyable to use while running. It doesn't make you overheat. Like, I've used this for hard sessions on the track, even up to temperatures in the kind of mid-teens Celsius here in the UK, and it doesn't feel too hot and sweaty, and will protect you from the rain throughout those workouts. So you can use it for a couple of hours in the pouring rain, and if you're someone like me who wears glasses quite often on the run, the peak will keep the rain off your glasses throughout the run, which is invaluable because it rains a lot here in the UK and I run a lot and I'm often running in the rain as a result, and it's nice to have a cap that you can pull on that doesn't feel like a waterproof cap, doesn't feel very hot and sweaty or anything like that, but it will keep the rain off you throughout. It's also just a really lightweight cap in general, folds down nice and small if you want to stuff it in a pack. It's got a perforated peak to help with that, so there's like internal structure but gaps in that, which keeps the weight down. It also means it's more foldable. Some nice reflective details as well, which is always handy on anything you're going to run in. But definitely the main feature is that it just doesn't get really hot and sweaty, which is a problem for lots of waterproof caps I've tested in the past. It does feel nice and lightweight. You can just wear it as a cap if you like, although I still would probably prefer something that isn't waterproof on days when it isn't raining. £30 in the UK, $39 in the US, so again, it's not a very cheap cap, but for a waterproof product like this, I think that's pretty good value. So my last pick is one for people here in the UK. It's Tor's Running Caps, which cost £26.20 a piece. Now, I declare my interest here that the guy who set up Tor is a friend of mine called Dave, a really good guy, but I do really like these caps, to the point where we're hopefully getting some Run Tester ones soon with the same design but our logo on them. They're just really good caps. They're the classic soft 5-panel design you see with a lot of caps these days. Very easy to scrunch up, very small, and wash. They dry quickly. They regain their shape very quickly after you do scrunch them up. They fit really comfortably, absorb a lot of sweat on the run. You've probably seen me wearing them in videos where I'm very sweaty, so you can see that for yourself in action. And they come in a small range of really nice designs, and it is nice to get a cap from a small company like Tor because it's a little bit different to what you'll see out there, and it's a good logo and name all round. So they've been the caps I've used the most day to day over the last couple of summers. Yeah, they're just really good hats with nice bright designs.
My first pick is the Brav Artemis Cap. Now, Brav is a brand that you probably know more for socks, but they do lots of other apparel as well, so including caps. Now, the Artemis Cap is just a solid cap, really. There's not really any standout things I would say about this cap. It's just very comfortable to wear. It's nice, fits nicely on the head. Some running caps I do find can sit a bit high. I don't like that. I like to have a cap that really sits further down on my head. It's nice and flexible. You can store it in, you can kind of scrunch it up and put it in your bag when you're not wearing it, and then you can pull it out and it all sort of goes back to its original shape. It's machine washable. It's made from this like mesh material, which is designed to be lightweight. It's not the most lightweight one out there. There are some better alternatives like the On Cap, which I think Nick is going to talk about. But it's a solid cap, very comfortable. If you like these sort of neon designs, I think Mike's probably the sort of person who's probably more likely to go for this sort of colour. Then this is what you want to go for. Brav is essentially a brand that has lots of exciting, cool, young-looking designs. Well, probably not necessarily for me, but I think it's a solid cap. It's very comfortable. I've been wearing this for a few runs now, and I think it's great. It has some reflective elements on it as well, and it dries quite quickly once it gets really sweaty. So that's another bonus as well. So a solid cap, and definitely one if you like those sorts of designs. Now, Saysky do loads of different caps, and largely they make the cargo caps, which is the same design, but they change the actual colorways on them, and they tend to do that quite a lot throughout the year. So this design here, which I think is the mint design or something that was designed for the summer, they've got a whole range that you can get in this colorway. That's good. That will finish at some point, and there will be a new design that comes out for this type of cap. So you can get this cap in loads of different designs, and they're all generally designed to be quite fashionable. Now, this is probably a little bit too much for me. I don't tend to wear really colourful caps, but I do have a few other versions of the cap with different colours on as well, which I really like. I think the thing about the Saysky caps is that they are very fashionable. They're clearly designed for people that really care about the style of the kit that they're wearing, but they're also really functional as well. So even though I'm not necessarily that bothered about fashion, I do wear these quite a lot because they do a really good job, and they're very comfortable to wear. So there's quite a lot of space in the top, which I really like. I have got a lot of caps that go too high, I mentioned that earlier, but they're very comfortable, a lot of space in them. You can sort of bend the brim as well, which I like doing. It's also machine washable, UV protective, and it is designed to be sweat wicking as well. So if you get your head really sweaty, the moisture should evaporate off. It's not as good as some of the really lightweight caps I've seen. It's not the lightest cap out there. There are some other caps that some of the guys will talk about, which are probably a little bit better if you really do sweat a lot, but it's not bad, and I do use this quite a lot in the summer. Okay, so this is more my style. This is the Melin Pace Hydro. Now, Melin is a brand that is fairly new, and they're designing quite hard wearing caps, not necessarily always for running, but this is their running specific one. Now, it's very similar to the other caps that I've talked about, but I think the thing about this one is that it's really nicely designed. So it's a little bit more subtle, not just the colorway, but the way that the seams are sort of designed, and little design features on here. There's like little logo underneath that and on the side, and it just looks really nice and cool. It's quite an expensive cap, but it does have a few little features on it that are quite nice to have. In the brim, there is a sort of rubber guttering system that sits under there, and the idea is that when you're sweating, it doesn't drip down your eyes. It sort of goes over the top of the rubber and drips down the side of your face. Have found it to work quite well. I do find that when I wear this cap, I don't tend to get as much sweat in my face, and I do sweat a lot in the summer, so it's definitely a good one for that. Like many of the other caps we talked about, it is designed to be sweat wicking. It is designed to be relatively lightweight and not keep your head really wet if you're sweating loads. It's very good at that. Again, it's not the lightest one out there. I would still say the On cap is probably the best if you really want the lightest possible cap out there, but it is a solid cap, and very subtle, very nice. I believe this colorway is currently sold out on the website, but there is another a grey colorway that you can get as well. So it's solid, bit expensive, but there are some features in it that are quite nice to have if you're really into your caps like I am.
So this On Running lightweight cap has been around for a while, but it's a long time favourite of mine in certain conditions, namely when it gets really hot, when I want something that's a bit more lightweight, when my my baldy head needs a bit more sun protection. I use this. The ventilation is pretty good, and no matter how much ventilation you get though, my cap still gets soaking. So to combat some of the torrent that I get of leaky sweat, it's got a built-in sweat band. It does a pretty good job of slowing down the leaks into your eyes. The other thing I like about it is thin and fast drying, so after a run you can avoid getting that cold head from a wet cap. It's machine washable. I find the easy clasp at the back and the sliding adjuster great for getting a good fit. It's on the pricier side, but I've had this one for about 3 years now. It's still going strong, where cheaper caps may have given up much sooner, so that is my first pick. Next up, I've got this Boco 5-panel Technical Trucker Performance Cap. So if you're a regular watcher of the channel, you'll know that I'm one of the people who usually wears their cap backwards, and that means only certain styles of hats really work for me, and this 5-panel trucker hat is one of them. Now, I love the airiness of these sort of side mesh panels. It's got a wicking internal sweatband as well that works pretty well. I can get a decent fit with the snapback closure. I don't feel like that wriggles loose as well, like some fastenings can, so it stays firmly put. They are hand wash only, but I think they clean up really quickly in a sink of soap and water. You don't really have to do too much with them. This one is a customised Kick It in the design. It's made and sold by my ultra running Ironman dentist. I'm a big fan of the Rainbow Unicorn, but you can get other designs direct from the Boco site too. But one of the reasons I really like this, not just because I think it's got a really nice design, but this hat is all about kind of supporting people who have mental health issues and using movement to do so. So it's about spreading positive awareness about that. So yeah, I think it's got a really positive message. I love running in it as well.
So I do love a running cap. I would say that my running cap rotation is significantly bigger than my shoe one. I've tested a lot of different brands. I like a good looking cap, but also ultimately it has to deliver in terms of what I look for, and mainly that's something I prefer, something a little bit more low profile, particularly in terms of the brim, something that you can adjust the fit with really quickly, something that's packable as well. I like something that I can, you know, maybe squeeze into a running belt or a bag, because ultimately sometimes I go out with a cap and I don't want to wear it the entire time, so it's nice to have that option to do that. So my cap choice is this, the Janji AFO Hyperlight Cap. Now again, a bit like the Saysky cap, it is really, really thin and light, and you can kind of just see it, really stretchy material, and that, you know, again, that's something I like. And that also means that you can kind of squash it, kind of scrunch it and pack it away, and it's the same with the brim as well. It's low profile, but you can kind of scrunch it and it makes sure you can kind of fit it in. I like the fact that it's got this kind of bungee kind of cord. Sometimes I have issues in terms of the kind of mechanisms that some caps use, whereas with this I know that I'm going to be able to tighten and loosen this. I'm not going to have to play around with it at the back as well. It's got some nice elements inside of the cap to make sure that it's kind of absorbing sweat, and you know, when it does get sweaty and it gets wet, you know, it doesn't kind of hold that moisture in a really kind of annoying or kind of irritating way. So for me, this is a cap that I've really, really liked. It's super light, it's in the name, of course, packable, but also I like the fact that you've got that kind of bungee cord that actually makes it very easy to kind of tighten and loosen if you want to take it off, or the fit hasn't just quite worked with you when you first gone out running with it. So my last pick is from a cap brand called Fractel, an Australian brand, and I've had a couple of their caps before. I think this is kind of the Midnight Edition one that has a kind of like more of these kind of reflective elements in the design, and this one as well, because I just kind of love that colour, and it's all kind of got that kind of ventilated mesh kind of design as well to make it more breathable. But it's this one that I've got in recently. So this is the it's F series cap, and I think this is the Iris edition. And what I like about this, again, a little bit like the Janji and the Saysky caps, is again, it's a little bit low profile. I like the fact it's got a shorter brim in it. It's got some nice kind of UPF protected panels here as well on the sides and on the front of the hat, so if you're wearing it front or kind of backwards, and you've got that kind of extra protection there as well. I also like, and I think the main thing for me is you've got this really thick kind of sweat band inside of the cap, so if you do sweat a lot, then there's a big kind of area to kind of absorb that here as well. Again, it's one that I've been able to throw in the wash without any issue, and I think a lot like the other caps as well. I think that's a big deal for me if you can do that and it doesn't kind of damage the cap as well. So yeah, my last pick is this, the Fractel F series. I think this is the Iris edition, new addition to my kind of cap rotation, and one that I'm really liking and enjoying at the moment.
Okay, so that's it from us. Thanks a lot for watching this guide. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the little bell, and also if you go into the caption below, you can find a link to our podcast. And if you're watching this in July, you will be able to listen to the latest podcast we've done, which is all about cushion shoes. So if you're into cushion shoes, there's a whole podcast for you to listen to about that. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.